They're pretty, but do they sound good? Let's check these headphones out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm looking at these. These are the Beyerdynamic Amiron wireless copper, and they are crazy nice. So, first off, they are powered by the Beyerdynamic Tesla drivers, giving you 5 to 40,000 hertz frequency response, way more than I can hear, and I'm betting way more than you can hear. But boy, it does have this beautiful, rich sound. 100 decibels sound pressure level, 32 ohms if you're using it wired, and the copper elements, this is actual copper, super interesting metal, but we're not talking about metal here. And then on the top, they have what's called Alcantara, and that's this sort of material. It's like a soft leather, but it's not actually leather. Makes them really comfortable. Obviously, they are highly adjustable, which is important because they're over-ear headphones. So when you put them on, you want them to have your ear centered in the middle of each cup. When you do that, you get a nice seal. Now, they're not active noise canceling, so you still get all the ambient noise around you, but obviously it reduces it significantly. If you use these in a very noisy environment, you're probably going to end up turning the volume up to compensate. So if you want to use these on an airplane or something, maybe an ANC headphone is going to work better for you. But in a quieter environment, like a typical office environment or something, or at home, oh man, these sound so good. So, interesting things about it is that they have a touch panel here, or a touchpad. So there are all these different gestures on, like double tap to pause, double tap to play, and all that sort of stuff. It has actually a microphone. You can use these for calls. I didn't even test that. Seriously, I can't deal with actually having a phone call or anything like that when I have these sort of headphones. You might be different, but my guess is these probably aren't optimal for phone calls. Seriously, it's for audio reproduction. So, the touchpad controls also mean that you don't need a lot of controls on the headphones themselves. So, real quick tour, USB-C for charging, the power on-off button, which is super subtle. You just push and hold it until you hear. There are all sorts of voice prompts here. There's a tiny hole for the microphone. There's a larger 3.5 millimeter so that you can actually plug it in and use it as wired headphones if you want. And that's really nice because it has a really great battery life, but sometimes they're dead. Sometimes you just don't have the charge because you didn't pay attention. That's okay. Use the wire and you can use them as wired headphones. Now, some people also don't want Bluetooth devices right by their skull. I get it. So use these wired, right? Then again, they do have wired devices and wired versions of these headphones. Probably a smarter move, but this gives you the option of going both ways. Now, battery life, 30 hours. 30 hours, that's pretty sweet. That means realistically, if you charge these on Sunday night, Monday morning, grab them on your way into work, and they're probably gonna work pretty much for the whole week without needing another charge. Now, since they do have the voice prompts, it'll actually tell you, battery low, recharge, and you plug them in while you grab lunch, you come back, they're good to go for another 20 hours. Super easy. Now, they support all the modern codecs, including aptX HD, and AAC and aptX low latency. Now that low latency is important because that means if you want to use these and you're watching your favorite movie on Netflix or you're catching up on Hulu or something, it's going to be perfectly in sync. There's not going to be any lag, any latency, any weirdness where it's talking and then you hear the voice like a half a second later. Super distracting. These are low latency. That's the purpose of aptX low latency. So, other interesting thing about these is that it comes with an app, but before we get there, let me just show you this beast of a case. I don't use these cases, I don't like these cases, but they don't fold up. There's not much in the way of portability here. That's an issue, so you have this huge case. In the case, you have not a whole lot of stuff, but here's the 3.5 millimeter wire that lets you plug it into an audio device. Notice there is an inline control if you want to use them that way. Very compatible. A card, a unique piece of craftsmanship, a guarantee. There's a user's guide, empty bag, USB-C charging cable. That's it. And a really big portable container to carry it in. Again, Sorry, not a fan. Maybe you are, but you can probably carry them this way. Honestly, for the price, they should probably also include a soft drawstring bag if that would be your preference. You could put both in the box. It would cost them a tiny incremental cost and be giving you more options. That'd be good. Now, let's talk about the app for a sec, because when you pair these via Bluetooth, there's an app on your phone that's called the MIY app. It's actually the Mosaic Sound Personalization System, and it's pretty slick actually. As you can see here, I've personalized my sound. Now you can do it by default based on your age and when you were born, and your hearing changes as you get older. Sorry guys, and gals for that matter. So it can automatically change things, and you can adjust how much you want that to affect what you're listening to. It's worth experimenting because it makes a world of difference. I found that by enabling that, I got a lot more presence out of the music. It's actually quite remarkable to slide it all the way up or all the way down and hear just how different that is. It's like a good EQ, right? So really good. Now, let's talk about actually, one more thing. I want to tell you that because it has that touchpad on the side, that the app also includes this handy tutorial that shows you how to do all the different gestures in case you forget. It's pretty obvious. Move forward to go to the next track, move up to make the volume louder, double tap to pause or play or to answer a phone call if you're going to use this for phone calls, all of that. But that tutorial is pretty handy. Really though, I think you're going to be using it to actually fine-tune that personalization. And then once you have that set, you'll probably never even think about it again, and they'll just sound really great. Which leads us to the sound. They sound really great. These are so nice. The Tesla drivers that Beyerdynamic has are absolutely winners anyway, but these let you have them in a Bluetooth environment, and they just sound so nice. There's a precision, a clarity, there's a richness to the sound. It's not a disco, it's not a nightclub, it's not the big thumping bass or anything that you'd get at a nightclub. Or that you get from a lot of cheaper headphones. These are just really clean, almost like studio level monitors. And it does make a difference to have them adjusted so they're properly over your ears, so that's worth trying and fiddling with a little bit. Each side can adjust. I have a bad habit of having one all the way out and one all the way in, which leaves them lopsided, so then I have to go and manually tweak it to try to get that same fit, but actually have the headband centered. So I don't know, probably not a huge crisis, but definitely worth poking around and playing and trying a little bit to get it to work just so, and you will be so impressed by the sound. There's great sound stage. Again, there's clarity is really a great word for the way that these are reproducing music. One of the songs I listened to, actually I listened to the album Steely Dan Asia. It's a beautifully engineered album, and boy, it sounds so darn nice with these. I was sitting in a cafe, eyes closed, just zoning out, enjoying the music and hearing things that I don't typically even hear with other headphones. That's how good these are. Now, they come with a premium price tag, but before I get to the price, let me ask if you can subscribe to my channel. Give me a bit of feedback. What do you think of this review? Do you actually look for super high-end audiophile headphones? Do you like copper, right? Copper, it's cool, right? Is there something I've talked about like copper that you don't actually care about? Give me some comment, give me some feedback, all appreciated. Now, the price, it's all that's left, right? Beyerdynamic Amiron wireless copper, they are $699 at beyerdynamic.com. I think their list is $749, so it means you probably can shop around a little bit online, and who knows, maybe you can find it even cheaper than $699. It's a pretty premium price tag, but these are really premium headphones and they sound excellent. Now, I will remind you the two things that I'm not a huge fan of is number one, not super portable, they don't fold up or anything. And number two, they are sort of passive noise reduction, but they're not active noise canceling, and they're not really sealing your ear. So if you use these in a noisier environment, you will still get that environmental noise. Just worth knowing. Otherwise, I adore these. I think these are fantastic headphones, and I am definitely going to be listening to them more. So with that, I will put them back on, and I will catch you in my next video.